it's Ambar, and I'm here with.
Steven.
So, my name is Ambar, and I have a co host. His name is Steven. Thank you for being here with me tonight.
Thank you. This is a long time coming. A lot of
Mm,
months of pre-production on this side.
yes, a lot of waiting, a lot of planning, a lot of discussing. I'm so happy that we're finally doing it because it's been
hmm
like on the edge. I've been on the edge of my seat just waiting for the day.
Same here. I'm like, yo, we talked about this in like February, March, and it's
We're
taken
almost
several
heading
months.
to that season. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
we're really about to make a year. I mean, kind of makes sense, planning, figuring things out. So, eh,
Right.
I'm not a religious person, but I believe the phrase is God's timing. God's timing.
God's timing. I believe in that wholeheartedly. And a little background of where I come from for anybody who's new in tuning in. I am a podcaster. I had my own show. It was called Bars Said So. And in that show, I basically was breaking down music. Um, I A&R on the side.
Mhm.
So a big passion of mine is like artist development, just behind the scenes work when it comes to artistry. So a lot of what I talked about was about music, and like I had guests on the show. The guests were musicians, rappers, songwriters, singers.
Mhm.
And yeah, I had fun doing that. I had fun yapping away about music and the things that I like or don't like. And now I'm transitioning to a more relaxed feel, I feel like, but we kind of, we'll get into what we're going to get into, but that's a little bit of my background. Dominicana, American. Um, I'm a mother
Isn't
and
that like a viral
I'm
sound?
proud. What happened?
Isn't that like a viral sound from like Love Island or something? I'm a
Oh
mom.
yeah, she's
No,
like mamacita. I'm a mamacita.
yeah, I'm a mom. I'm a mamacita.
I never watched it.
I Is that the one where you don't see the person? Like there's a partition? No, that's Love is
No,
Blind.
that's the pod. That's like the pod on like I mean they're both on Netflix, right? So I don't
I
really
think
think
so.
yeah.
I, listen,
But I did watch that one. That one that you're talking about, I watched the first season,
same.
and interracial couple won that
hmm
season, and I loved them. I wanted them to win, so I was happy that
Yes, and
happened.
I think they still together because I feel like I've
They
seen
just had a
them.
kid.
Shout out to them. Oh,
Congratulations. I'm
I
happy people
mean,
are still having children.
more biracials in the world.
Love that. Love that. So tell the world about yourself and where your, background
Whew.
is.
I mean, I'm also a podcaster. I've been in the industry. Wow. About to be a decade, which is kind of nuts. Started podcasting back in 2016. Had several shows, some with some friends. Also had another show that was focused on like music, more so from the standpoint of like dissecting artists, talking a little bit more about the industry and like the history of music as well. Had a couple of prominent guests on the show as well. God rest his soul, DJ Clark Kent, and a few other people. And more recently now, I just launched a show about maybe 2 months ago. Shout out to my co-host Regine. We
Oh,
primarily discuss TV and film since I watch a lot of TV. So I too am a world-class yapper. So I think in general, when we talk about podcasting and the podcasting space, like there's this idea of like storytelling that I really find that attracts me the most to the space. So that's why I've been doing it for basically like almost a decade. So yeah,
okay.
that's basically it. Family, Haitian background, born and raised in Brooklyn, been in Jersey for about 4 or 5 years now. And this is the beginning of something new. So I look forward to all the conversations we're gonna have.
Yes, some great conversations. I'm excited to have them too. I've been listening to your podcast, very insightful. And I actually
Thank
started
you.
watching one of your recommendations. So
Listen,
Yeah,
man, I ain't no tastemaker, but I'm just saying, like, I may tell you a joke, but I'll never tell you a lie. I'll
I
never
know
tell you a
that's
lie.
right. So the purpose and key of the show is kind of, I want to break it down into like little fun pieces because
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I can be all over the place sometimes. So I have to refer to my notes. So bear with me as I transition into this because this is the first time I have a co-host. Usually I'm interviewing people and it's just like a black and white type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny because we did record an episode, but I didn't really like it and I wasn't really ready and I felt like I was like a little rushed. So I'm happy that we're doing it again, starting nice and fresh. So some of the segments that I plan to speak about are kind of like events that are happening or like things that are catching my interest. I'll usually bring up the topic and then Stephen will chime in and let me know what his thoughts are because
Mm-hmm.
value his brain. He has like a very specific way of thinking.
Oh, okay. I was like, where is this going? Where is this going here? You gonna slander
No,
me on
no,
the
all
first
great
episode?
things.
Okay, good, 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 good. Just making sure.
All great things. And I feel like, him and I, we kind of bounce ideas very gracefully.
Mm-hmm.
We funny story. I don't know if you want me to share this, but I remember one
Proceed.
time
I do the
I
editing, so I'll cut it out if need be. But go ahead.
one
Go.
time Steven got the smoke that he wasn't supposed to get one day.
Oh yeah, I'm never gonna let that go. By the way, never gonna let that go.
So one day I was like, I don't know, receiving text messages. And at the time, I guess I didn't have numbers saved. So
Mm-hmm.
like I got this number and then this person says something that kind of like not rubbed me the wrong way, but I was kind of like in my feelings, I guess. And so I
Mm-hmm.
responded to Steven like, yo, was like, what are you talking about? Like I gave him mad attitude. And here we are together co-hosting.
Listen, man. I try to give the people grace. We all slip up from time to time. I could have had just been like, you know what? I don't know what she on. She not even my girl talking to me crazy like this. Like I could have just snip and like carry on with my life. But I was like, you know what? Maybe, maybe it was her monthly, maybe some other shit, maybe some dude pissed off. I don't know what was going on. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just let it slide. I'm gonna let it slide.
Right.
Let it
And I
slide.
did apologize because I'm a woman who takes accountability. I can look at myself and be like, you know what? I was wrong,
Mm-hmm.
I think,
Mm-hmm.
for the most
And
part.
I'm gonna remember to remind you you were wrong as often as I possibly can.
So, yes, that would be like the first segment of the show, hot takes, like, things that I've seen or that maybe that he's seen that, we can elaborate on. Have you seen anything that you want to like shoot real quick?
Whew. I would say, unfortunately, I haven't. Work has been really busy. I guess not necessarily a hot take. I would say it's more so like an observation. I feel like, and you're for the audience, like Amber's a little bit younger than me, but I feel like we are reaching a point with people in my age group, people who are slightly younger, not maybe Gen Z as well, Gen Alpha. I have no idea what they do, but I've been seeing me more and more people being vocal about like their disdain for like corporate America and like stepping away from that and like what are the alternatives. And that's just outside of like politics and the state of the country and things of that nature. I think it's more so like culturally how people in my age group and younger are starting to like process like what their quality of life and like how sometimes or a lot of times corporate America doesn't necessarily align with that. And so I think the reason why I brought it up is I think a lot of times when you face like frustration with work, you kind of internalize it as like, I'm the only person that's going through this. So then when you're on social media and you see other people, it's like, oh no, these other companies be bugging out here too and mistreating people. So it's like, that's like the one, like, I guess, hot sort of item because I'm always thinking like, okay, if a large body of people are experiencing one thing, there has to be some sort of like immediate reaction or some sort of change that comes from it. So I'm more so like, okay, what's the change that's going to come out of it? I think obviously the earliest one is like most people are quitting their jobs and trying to figure out ways to like make their own money and, becoming an entrepreneur and things of that nature. That's not necessarily feasible for everybody, especially in this economy with like how much people are like kind of penny pinching with this administration. So it'll be interesting to see like the next few years how young people in our age group are starting to shift, their commitment to work. I know that was a bit long winded, but I was like,
No,
that's the
I love
first
it.
that was the only thing that came to mind.
It's so right on track with like what I've been experiencing because I just transitioned to a new corporate company and just last week I took a personal day, right? And then I
Mm-hmm.
came in the next day and my personal came with me still, like my emotions from what I was
Mm,
dealing with. And it was a holiday party and I had to be around people, but I put myself first in that aspect. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to stay in my office. I let my supervisor know. I'm like, listen, I'm having a day and I need to stay here because I can't be around everyone. And I
mm-hmm.
was just working through my emotions and she respected that, I feel like it's about transparency. I'm the type of person I don't like to tell my colleagues what I'm going through. Like I'm the type of person like business is business, personal is personal
Mm-hmm.
because of like just I guess toxic previous environments. But I'm learning and I'm adapting to kind of like
Mm-hmm.
being more open and like allowing the community that comes with work sometimes. And I feel like to tie in with people wanting to quit or become entrepreneurs, I totally get that because who wants to be in an office 5 days a week and then sitting in traffic for 2 hours a day, round trip
Mm-hmm.
for me. And then you got to go home and make dinner. You have kids if you do. You got to tend to them. You got to, read, do homework. And then who finds the time to get in front of the mic and record a podcast episode,
I see what you did there. You're a clever one. She tied it all together, people. This is a true professional that we're dealing with.
So I, you got to make the time, obviously, if it's something that you really love and you really want to do. And who knows, maybe this will be my main source of income come 2026. So I'm just hoping that I can find a balance between it all and really commit to it because I really do enjoy doing it. It's something that I found a really liking to, loving it. And that kind of taps into the next segment that I will be discussing on the show, which is like current chaos. And
Mm-hmm.
so in the current chaos, I'll be highlighting news stories, but not boring, serious ones. Explain, you know, what are some of the chaotic things that are happening in the world that are maybe like need awareness.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I feel like the current administration is probably the most chaotic thing for everyone in America.
Yes.
And, just balancing everything, being a civilian in these crazy streets. Like I don't like to claim fear, but there's just so many things that, you watch, I doom scroll sometimes and I'm just like, bro, like this is really happening in Chicago or this is really happening in New York. And it's like
Mm-hmm.
you travel and the airlines are a mess, the
Mm-hmm.
government shut down and people are losing their assistance and you just kind of have to be on guard. How do you feel about that?
Oh man, that's a heavy one. I think I feel like the same way everybody else feels in terms of like it's been a whirlwind. If you are on social media, if you watch the news almost daily, you're seeing something that's disturbing you in some sort of capacity. Um, and the crazy thing is it's hitting every fabric of our life and our reality. So you have the government shutdown, you have like you just mentioned, like airports and all of their issues and these strikes going on. Then if you on the other scope of things is like, me working in marketing, dealing with certain institutions, like everybody's penny pitching. So like people are cutting their budgets. So that means layoffs. We're seeing layoffs since COVID, basically. And that hasn't slowed down from every industry.
Right.
Um, and then, the job market is a complete mess because now things is just a bunch of extremely technical, extremely qualified individuals who can't find work or on these LinkedIn or Indeed for 12, 18. I've seen people say like they've been searching for 2 years. And so whether it impacts you directly or you have someone close to you that's being impacted in some way, it's something you can't avoid and you can't ignore. And then we also, have the whole scope of like, how does this current administration also deal with world issues? So that's always going to be present as well. So it's a lot. I think that's why I've always been someone who's like subscribed to not watching any of the things, of
Yep.
like literally unsubscribing. So a lot of things I don't be aware of for like my own sanity, because it's like I already got my own day-to-day life that I'm trying to manage, let alone seeing what's happening on like such a bigger scale, which is both good and bad because you should stay informed, especially if it's impacting, your loved ones or people around you or just humans in general. But sometimes it's like for my own peace, I'd be like, I'm just going to mind my business.
Right. There's nothing like minding my business. I love a good
Listen,
isolation.
I've been minding my business since '87. I don't know. I don't know what to tell the rest of y'all.
Oh man, it's so crazy. And it's like I'm the same way. I rather read the news than watch it. So I'm intentional in that way. Like I'm seeking things that are like, okay, well, the elections were in November. So obviously before that, I was like looking into my community, who's running and,
Uh-huh.
what it is that the community needs or what they don't need. And it's like stuff like that to kind of contribute to the decision making, right? Because everybody likes to say like, oh, I'm not going to vote. It doesn't matter. It really does matter, like I plan to get in front of one of these city halls and complain myself because I have some things that I really need to get off my chest that I've been
She's
witnessing
gonna,
in my community. So
gonna
y'all
pull
gonna
out a
see a lot of me.
list. I mean, it's important. I think what you're saying is very important. I'm definitely someone um who I'm not a fan of people who talk about. Thankfully, I don't know anybody in my age group who doesn't vote or have any personal friends who I don't think vote. But like, my parents, obviously immigrant parents, they've experienced a completely different sort of lifestyle, not only when they were back home, but then growing up or I guess, yeah, technically growing up to a certain extent in New York as well. So they're also that age group, those baby boomers who feel like, oh, why am I voting? It's the same corrupt politicians, yada, 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 which I kind of get. But then at the same time, it's like, okay, if you are willingly choosing to unsubscribe, then don't complain. Like, I don't want to hear you complaining. And then the crazy thing is, these same people who don't vote are the same ones that's on Facebook all day, who's watching CNN all day and just complaining. And they're on the phone talking to your aunt or talking to their
Hmm.
uncle, complaining and talk about politics all day. And it's like, you've already decided that you're not participating. So, like, your voice doesn't mean anything. If
Right.
you participate, then you have a right to like vocalize your distrust with whoever is in office because you played your part and now you forced to witness this person not do their part. So yeah, I think it's definitely important for people to get involved. And I think going back to my previous conversation about young people and people in our age group, I think Mom Donnie winning shows like the millennials and the younger generation like being more involved in like, hey, these last several years, even before COVID, have not been great. And it's time for us to switch things up because the people that have been here before are more focused about the 1% and the people who have money and making sure they're good, while us, the middle class, since there technically isn't no middle class, but the middle class, we are just getting beat with a belt in every facet. Taxes,
Mm.
cost of living going up. You're relying on certain public services that aren't efficient. Like people are fed up and people are tired. And on top of that, like we're tired of seeing old people in office that are just collecting checks and collecting bribes. Like every look at Eric Adams and how his whole group of people is all corrupt. It's like people are tired of that. And
I feel
so
like we're watching a BMF or a Power
right.
episode.
It's like it's funny how like you'll watch TV shows and it's like, oh, this is dramatization. It's like it is, but also like it's inspired by like a lot of things that you see in actual life. Like humans are flawed, and so these are the things that you're going to witness. And I think people are just kind of fed up. So I think the point you made is like really, really admirable and important for those who are listening and watching.
Yes, yes. We encourage people to do the right thing here for the most
Sometimes,
part.
sometimes, sometimes a little lie ain't hurt nobody. You know.
So then, after we discuss a current chaos, I would go into this week's obsession. I don't really have an obsession this week. Do you have an obsession this week?
Oh, that's a good one. Do I have an obsession this week?
A
Um,
song, a book, a realization,
I think I guess, current obsession, routine. Routine
routine.
is my current obsession.
Mm.
Because work has been really, really busy the last few months, it kind of disturbed my natural routine and the things that I needed to do. And so I'm trying to be very more conscious and like having healthy boundaries so that I can maintain my routine because it then creates like a domino effect of like it improves my mental health and improves my physical health, like sense of calmness. So that's been my obsession the last couple of weeks is like maintain my routine for my own sanity or shit gonna get nuts.
Right. No, I totally agree because I feel like since the school year started for my little one, it's kind
Mm-hmm.
of been hard to kind of allow my routine to sink in with her routine. So, it's a lot of waking up early and going to sleep late, but I've been really intentional about going to sleep early. So I've been kind of implementing that more. But I also have like a weird circadian rhythm. Like I thrive in the nighttime, but then I'll wake up in
Mm,
the morning and I'm like, I'm an early bird. I'm up at 5 a.m. I'm like
mm.
making lunch, getting her ready. I'm out the door by like 6:30. I don't get home
Sheesh.
sometimes till like 9 o'clock, sometimes 8 o'clock, So it can get a little brutal.
God
But
bless.
you gotta do what you
Uh,
gotta do. Only the strong survive, right? They say so.
well, I'm weak because I don't want to do that. I'm good. Y'all got it. More power to y'all.
I got the belt on my shoulder.
Okay, you gotta do what you gotta do.
But yeah, I don't really have an obsession. I feel like for the most part, I've been just particular about time. Like I want to obsess about time management, like kind of like say
Mm,
routine. Like I want to really get into a zone where I'm like, okay, I only have 20 minutes for this. I got to only focus on this for the next 20 minutes. Even at work, like there's a heavier load for me. And I'm getting used to that environment because I had like, I mean, I did have a heavy load where I was, but it's more fast paced. There's new things coming in and then there's things that need to be managed. And it's about like separating like my tasks and things and like,
uh-huh.
communicating that as well because I'm only one person. My team isn't that big. So I'm not gonna also break my brain because of a quota or whatever the case, whatever the goal is. You know what I'm saying? Like it's above my pay grade. Some things, so I'm gonna act like my pay grade for the most.
What's that other phrase? It's with God now.
Right, right. It's
It's
above
above
me.
me. It's above me.
Like even sometimes my senior adjuster, she's like, go home. Because I'll literally stay and like finish up what I gotta do, and it's like past my time, and she's like, leave. And
Couldn't be me.
yeah.
I would have been gone. Like, you only see me like this, or you see me like this.
Oh
I ain't staying
man,
for
I
nobody.
like to leave a good impression too. Like I'm the type like I want to be remembered for some certain things.
I mean, I respect that. I always tell people like you're not gonna see project manager on my tombstone. So it's kind of like I try to do the best of my ability, but I don't care that much. I just can't.
And then the last segment, well, not the last segment, but one of the segments closer to the end would be a episode idea of the week. I'll be explaining a segment with the main topic for the future episodes. It's like a central idea, ties the conversation together. And episode of the week. I don't really have an episode of the week. What would you want to discuss if you had an idea to discuss?
Putting me on the spot.
I'm,
That
it's like my old podcast. I'm asking you the questions just to see where your head's at,
that's
where your
a
head's
that's
at.
a that's a that's a tough. I would say, I guess not necessarily because it would then be fleshed out to a big conversation. I would say the very interesting thing that I'm seeing across social media or even like this brief conversations that I've been having with people is like women decentering men in their lives. And I think that's just a very interesting sort of scope. Which is funny because you brought up the couple from Love is Blind having children, and it's like one of the things, it's funny how all these conversations are kind of intertwining. But one of the things this administration has done was like remove like abortion rights and different things of that nature. And that's partially, some of it is due to certain groups and their numbers dwindling, if you know what I mean.
I do.
Um, and so in turn, they're not they're more and more less likely going to be the majority in this country. With that being said, on top of that is millennials, Gen Z, and people in general are not having children at the same rate, and a lot of it is also due to like women are decentering men, and like women are finally, um, as a whole, are finally deciding to like, hey, you guys aren't doing your job. We're just going to remove access to us in that sort of capacity. And so in turn, like you see a lot more single people, you see a lot more people,
Opting out
uh,
of motherhood,
yeah,
fatherhood.
opting out of that. Or if they do have some form of like parental role, is more so like, oh, I'm gonna be a good aunt. I'm gonna be the rich
The
auntie,
rich
or
auntie.
the rich auntie, or you see, which that's a whole conversation within itself, and I might need to bleep this out. But you also see people who have unhealthy relationships with their pets and things of that nature. And so I think we're starting to see that more and more because the one the one of the many negatives of social media is people can say whatever it is that they want. And I think for a long period of time, because we were younger, it was all ignorant and it was like amusing and things of that nature. But now we all matured, and so it's kind of like, hey, you saying a lot of misogynistic shit, and you kind of believe it, so we not fucking with you.
Right.
And so you're seeing a lot more women kind of like taking ownership of their lives in that sort of way, and like decentering men, and like, oh, I may have a male friend here and there, or obviously you have males as part of your family that you connect with, but in terms of like dating, they're opting out of dating, opting out of kids, and kind of just focusing on their career and their upward mobility and their quality of life.
Yes, I love that you brought that up because it is something that I've been seeing a lot for a while now, and it's it's funny. It's not funny. First of all, it's not funny because I just feel like there's been a war within the genders in general, and it's also mental health awareness month. So
Is
like
it?
I wanna sympathize with the men because not only are women decentering men, but quote unquote there's a male loneliness epidemic as well. And I mean it does tie together, right? If you think about it. And I think this one article that's been like buzzing that a Vogue editor wrote about how it's embarrassing to have a boyfriend or a partner. And that's been getting a lot of attention. I don't know if you've read it, but I've read it. And honestly, I love that the girls are finally getting together on something because I feel like for a long time, we've been the problem within ourselves. And I'm gonna say that and I might get some heat okay? Because I just feel like a lot of the times we don't align. And I feel like growing up, I've always enjoyed sisterhood. I always enjoyed having my female friends. I've always like been like the girl in the group who's like ride or die for my girls, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And in turn, as I heal and as I look back in hindsight, I was like I was betrayed a lot, you know, by girls or, you know, or it just like very toxic experiences that I had to endure. And it was women involved in that. And I just feel like for the most part, now I just feel like as a collective, the girls who weren't girls, like they like to say, are opening their eyes to that, like taking accountability and be like, maybe I am a pick me, you know, not saying that I'm like that, but I'm saying
Mm-hmm.
like people are realizing these different types of women that exist that kind of that men benefited off of. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like the easy girls, the promiscuous girls, the girls who enjoyed casual, you know,
Mm-hmm.
who are just like, you know, transactional based
Mm-hmm.
within that. And I feel like that has a lot to do with why we are here because the men also feel used and, you know, the men are also like, there's a lot of like red pill men out there. Like I've had a lot of conversations about this and I don't really like it because I feel like a lot of men look at women like fetish, like they have a fetish for them, and it's just like they use and abuse, and they don't have emotional intelligence, and they don't care about how you feel. You know, they'll lie for months and persuade, manipulate. You know what I'm saying? So if you're not really in tune with how the culture is, the dating pool is a sewer. I wouldn't recommend. I mean, I'm not gonna say that because like, you know, there's a few good apples, but for the most part, I just feel like I'm aligned with the girls when it comes to decentering just a little bit.
I
Poquito.
mean, yes, I definitely support that because there is a lot of abuse that's going on. A lot of lying, stealing, uh, you know, the unideal behavior that a lot of people are facing. I would say, well, before I even say that, first of all, you said it's Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. It is the 21st of November, and none of y'all checked up on me. So that's one. The nerve. The nerve. Secondly, I won't necessarily. I don't know if I necessarily believe in the idea of like a gender war per se. I think there's always been ignorant people on both sides, and like people just now have a platform to say whatever it is that they say. Like, is there really necessarily like a gender war between groups? I don't know. I personally haven't experienced that, whether it's like with my women friends or even the dating that I've done. Like, I don't think I would consider it a gender war. Um, but I do feel like I think we are more far apart than we are closer together. And I don't think that's ideal. Just from like, forget like the whole idea of just like family and like carry on your legacy or whatever, but just like from a human standpoint, we should be treating each other better um, in that sort of regard. But yeah, I think people really need to like educate themselves in the proper facet, not going to TikTok and going to like social media platforms and YouTube to like learn from people that you don't know, but like actually go read a book, like go read some books on psychology and get a better understanding. Or if you can afford it, actually speak to a therapist, actually speak to a psychologist. And like these are people who are trained to understand the psyche of human beings. And like we all go through some stuff. So it's like even myself, um, I sometimes feel like I come off as someone who's like a know-it-all and like believes everything that I say is correct. But I also feel like I try to give people grace and I try to understand different perspectives. And so that helps me like navigate the world a little bit differently. So it's like when I be seeing dudes be like, "Oh yeah, you know, women trying to do this and women trying to do that," and I'm like, I don't know. I ain't never had these experiences. Like, yes, Have I had subpar experiences? Yeah, but that's life. Like we all gonna deal with somebody who may not understand your value, may not understand how you need to be treated and things of that nature. But I feel like when men talk about specific type of behavior that they see from women, it's one, a specific type of woman, a specific pool, and
Hmm.
then two, the shit didn't even happen to you. So what you crying about? Like
Right.
it don't even apply to you. So it's like, oh, these women only out here because they want dudes with money. It's like you ain't got no money, so why are you concerned? Like,
Right.
so
Yeah.
I don't know. I agree to a certain extent, but I
Hmm.
also disagree. But it's all at the end of the day, it's everybody's perspective. So I
Yeah, it's
respect
all
where people come from.
perspective. I feel
Yeah.
like, and I just did the Google search. It's not Men's Mental Awareness Month.
Whew.
It was Suicide
Look,
Awareness Month in
see,
September.
look at how you try to escape from accountability. You was just talking about accountability, and you was like, you know what? Let me Google this shit because ain't no way he gonna try to get me. You got it. You got it. You
I
got it.
just want to make sure because the listeners might, come in the comments and be like, y'all don't even know what y'all talking about. Like that shit was in June. So I just want to make sure. I think
And
it's
I
just
ain't get
because
my
of the
I ain't get my
topic
text in
being
June, and I ain't get my text in June. So you still late.
all right. I think we definitely linked in June. Like I definitely seen you
No,
this year.
debatable. Debatable. I don't recall.
It's fine. It's fine. So yeah, that would be the topic of this week. Just I guess women coming together and decensoring men. I love that. Honestly, like I try not to be pessimistic when it comes to dating, especially because I'm a single mother. I just feel like the obsession for me would be reading thread tweets or whatever you want to call it, threads of
Hmm.
people bashing single mothers and how like, oh, you're a single mom now, so you can just forget about marriage and you can forget about like I read them and I'm like, wow, like people are really out here like hurt because I showed up as a parent. Like, would you
Hmm.
rather me be a deadbeat and just like forget about my kid? God forbid, never. I would never. But it's like how do women or the other parent who did show up get all this hate? Like and why is it the fact that the the person who showed up and who is showing up daily has to be bullied online. Like I swear every day. I don't know if it's because I probably liked a post that's all I see sometimes is like people
Hmm.
bashing single parents. And I'm just like, okay, how do I
I
deal?
mean, I think when it comes to like social media, we always have to be hold ourselves accountable of like, okay, what do we give our energy and attention to?
Hmm.
So, because you could search for any topic and there's always going to be someone in support of it, someone saying something negative about it. So does it warrant the negativity? Of course not. But I also feel like at the same time you kind of have to like take it as like a grain of salt. And not saying like it's like profoundly impacting you, but like just in general, because there's so much nonsense. There's so many times I see like even like my women friends, they'll like bash men online. And I don't find that stuff like sometimes it's funny and then some and other times like I don't even care because it
Right.
don't apply to me. So it's like
Right.
I don't even give it sort of like energy in that sort of aspect. And I do, and I guess on the topic of like single parents and like I think it's a very that's a whole episode within
We gotta,
itself.
yeah, we gotta
But
get into it. We're gonna get into it
yeah,
one
but
of
I
these.
think it's a very interesting sort of again perspective when it comes to single parents who dating the single parent, what sex you are in terms of either side
Active.
of that scroll. Yeah, like
Hmm.
are you the mom, or are you the dad, or are you the person dating the dad, or are you the person dating the mom? Like there's so many, it's a very layered sort of conversation. I definitely have very specific viewpoints on it. I don't think I have anything problematic about it. I hope not. Maybe. Who
I
knows?
could recall conversations off air, but we'll talk about it. We'll talk
Uh,
about it.
I mean, yeah, we'll get to it at some point.
But yeah, no, it's something that I'm living through, and it's something that I have definitely peeped, and I have definitely had to, obviously if the shoe doesn't fit, if it doesn't resonate, don't, obviously, but I do sympathize for a lot of people. I'm a water sign. I'm a Pisces. I want to throw that in there. So I feel like I carry a lot of people's pain
Energy. Got it.
sometimes,
You're
and
an empath.
I think this is why another reason why like I love to talk is because like I can verbalize a lot of perspectives and like other people's, because a lot of people come to me sometimes with their emotions and their things, and I I've been told that I always know what to say sometimes, not to toot my own horn, but
Hmm. Interesting. So, with that being said, if you're someone that people constantly go to like unload their energy, how do you then unload that energy elsewhere?
I feel like it would just be things that I love. So like I like to sing. Sometimes I'll sing or like I'll dance, or I'll be with my kid. We'll hang out. Like, do I wish there were other people that I feel I will feel safe to talk about certain things? Yes, but I don't know. For the most part, I do a lot of journaling too. Like that's one of the things that I really fall into is like writing. I hope one day to write a book. I have some goals and some ideas there that I'm actively actually working on. So I'm excited about that. I feel like that's a toxic trait of mine though. Like I'll have so much going on and I'll have so many things that I want to unpack and I'll just dive into a project. Like I'll dive into podcasting. Like, obviously I mentioned how I had a tough day last week and like, in the upcoming stages of coming into this, I've had a lot of things that I've had to deal with as a mother, as just a civilian,
Hmm.
as a person, and also transitioning to a new career. So it's been a lot of things that I haven't really been vocal about. Maybe certain people do know because I do have people that I call and I'd be like, hey, like, this happens, but I also feel like a little bit of like guilt sometimes when I speak about like my shortcomings because I I think about them more than I think about like me. Like I'm over here talking, but I have a village, like I have my mother, or I have, people who I can depend on, and then it'll just be like me looking at their picture and be like, damn, like I'm over here complaining, but like I have it good. Like it's always somebody who has it a little bit worse. That's probably why I always look at it that way. And so I'm also trying to actively get better at being more vulnerable with people, especially with dating, because obviously I'm more territorial because I have a kid. So it's like I'm
Hmm.
not just allowing anybody in my space. Like and then there's people who are going to be kind of like, why has she invited me over? Like why has she not introduced me to her kid? And it's like there's stages to that. Like like I haven't gotten there yet. I want to, I plan to one day, but it's also a learning experience and something that I'll have to maneuver at that point when I
No,
get there.
that's all fair. I mean, yeah, like the reason why I ask is that oftentimes people, whether intentionally or unintentionally, will find outlets to like trauma dump without realizing that depending on who they're trauma dumping on, like that energy is transferable. And so if you're someone who is constantly in a space where people are just giving you so much of their trauma and the things that they're experiencing, like how are you releasing that? Like a therapist has to hear a bunch of different people's stories. Some of them are very traumatic. And so you oftentimes see a therapist also goes to a therapist because they need a space to like pass that energy off to as well. So that was the reason why I asked. But the only thing I will add to what you said is because you were saying how sometimes you go to your village to like vent, but then you also feel like maybe you shouldn't because you know that your issues are could be someone's privilege to a certain extent, and it's like I guess my thought process would be like, are you a true friend if you find me venting about my issues like offensive to you because you have your own issues going on, because
Hmm.
it technically supposed to be going both ways. Like, you tell me what's going on, good, bad, or indifferent. I should be able to tell you what's going on, good, bad, and indifferent. And you shouldn't internalize like, yo, you talking about your job and you making this kind of money, like how dare you, and I'm making, like, if
Right,
you ever
right,
feel that way, then like, are you really my friend?
right,
Because like, wouldn't be the case, wouldn't you prefer a situation where it's like, okay, now this person may be at a different position or different perspective or different sort of life than I'm at, and this is what they're going through. If I was to reach that sort of plateau, now I understand what it is that I may potentially sort of experience. And it's like, I don't know, I think we all have had, hopefully we don't have these people in our lives anymore, but I think we've
hmm,
all have had friends who weren't necessarily really the best of friends and were there for very specific experiences or having certain privileges or access to us. And so that's why you'll reach a point where it's like, yo, I'm just venting and like trying to connect with you because this is my experience as another human being, but you're kind of internalizing it as like it's not worthy of being mentioned because you got your own shit going on. So it's like, if that's the case, why the fuck do I talk to you in the first place?
right, right.
So
Yeah.
that was
No,
the only thing that was like populating in my head when you were saying that.
it's no, I get what you're saying for sure. And then we'll wrap up this lovely conversation that we've had with a game. We're not going to do the game tonight because I got to keep it a little brief for the first episode. But the outro, now that we're ending things, final thoughts about the show. I'm very excited. You're laughing at me.
Oh no, no, I was like thinking like, what are my final thoughts? What are my final thoughts?
Um, I'm excited, like I said in the beginning, ready to chat away. We've indulged in a lot of topics that I would love to get more in detail about, especially with motherhood, dating, casual relationships, uh, work relationships, just life in general, things to do in New Jersey. I feel like I haven't really been the greatest of friend. A Jersey native, haven't really allowed you to explore with me at least some of my favorite spots. So I that's something on my list of things to do as well.
You're only saying this because I brought up Men's Mental Health Awareness Month and you're trying to make up for it, but it's fine. Um, Final thoughts. Yes, I definitely look forward to the other conversations we plan to have. Like I mentioned earlier, I've been in the podcasting space for like almost a decade now. So this kind of reminds me similar to some of the conversations or some of the topics I used to cover way back in the day. But now being, 10 years older, I'm sure some of the viewpoints that I used to have probably have changed, probably have matured, new information that I may have on these things. And then even more recently with like the podcast that I've been podcasting that I have been doing, or more so either talking about content like TV and film or interviewing other people. So rarely have I been in more recent position of like talking about my own opinion about very specific things. So I look forward to having all the conversations, slandering those who need to be slandered,
Yeah.
and just having a good time and just,
Yes, having a good
continue being
time.
a world-class yapper.
And
Um,
encouraging the people who are listening and who are going to tune in to tap in with us in the comments. I love to chat, and we're going to be on YouTube. We're on Instagram. I'm on Instagram. He's on Instagram. We have our both separate accounts. You can find me on Actually Ambar on Instagram. I do have a TikTok too. It is Actually Ambar as well. YouTube is Actually Ambar. Ambar, actually, am I saying it wrong? I'm saying it wrong.
I think you have it right.
I have it
Yes, you
right.
have it right.
All
Yes, you
right.
have it
Because
right.
mom brain,
I'm
mom
I'm
brain.
not I'm not editing it out.
No, no, it's okay. Because I forget sometimes. It's okay.
Listen, man.
I have good memory, but I don't know. Sometimes it just like,
Listen,
I don't know.
man. We were not designed to multitask, so it happens.
Right, right.
It
So
happens.
yes, I'm looking forward to our shenanigans, and I hope you guys
Same.
all are ready for it because we're bringing
They have no choice.
it. Forced.
Exactly.
All right. Thank you so much. I enjoyed today's episode, and I'm excited for the future.
Bye, guys.
Bye.